Hello, this is Connor with Connor's Retribution Analysis, and I have Goreshade 4 with 4 units of Halberdiers. Pretty much sums up the list. And I'm playing against Reclaimer 2 with 2 Judicators and Errants. Also a similar spam list of a sort. Going into this game, I like that it's a somewhat live scenario. I would, in theory, like to be able to get a surround on the Judicators so that when they spray, they won't have as much effectiveness, and with my speed and hitting power, I should be able to come in from all sorts of angles and hose them. And I'm hoping with gunshots and other abilities, I can get rid of the errants that are in front of me. Self-sacrifice is annoying, so who really knows what's going to happen? So that was my plan coming into this. However, because of these houses right here, I don't think throwing anything more than 1 unit of halberdiers through this horrible gap is actually going to achieve anything. So that's what I got. I'm only sending 1 unit in there because anything else seems like a waste, and that's more just to tie down Judicator and score zone and abuse houses with Ghost Walk. Over here on this side, I want to spread out really wide so I can try and do that plan that I talked about earlier for gain through Judicators. So I'm going to send Halberdiers in through here, and I'm going to send Halberdiers around this water over here. That water is super, super annoying. Yeah. Luckily, I go first, which is super nice, and I put Dauntless Resolve on this green unit right here, and I put some clouds right here, and my opponent giggles a little bit, and I'm like, oh, what am I doing dumb? And then next turn, he's like, I have guidance, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing dumb. Yeah, he's got Rhoven and co back there, and they just hand out guidance. So the clouds and sprays go through him anyways. But literally, the clouds don't do me any good unless I put out enough of them so that he needs guidance for both Judicators. So whatever, that's a thing. And my army's up the board, like you see. Everything's shield walled because, well, yeah, I need shield wall. Also, everything's out of his spray range. I had to hold back in a couple of places because of that. So Hand of Fate goes on the Errants, and they come up and they shoot some Halberdiers dead. Battle is given on the Judicators. They walk up, they throw out some rocket pods, and there's not much to really say here other than now my army looks like this, and it used to look like this, and I'm down some officers. Basically my white unit and my teal unit still have their officers. My green unit and my red unit lost their officers. So, oh, and if you can see my dead pile, there's about 20 halberdiers in my dead pile just from stinking rocket pods. My left-hand side unit, everything that was right here is annihilated. Chunk right here got annihilated. Chunk in here got annihilated. And some halberdiers here and here died to Errants. Did not feel good. So now I'm rethinking my game plan. It's a double colossal list. I'll go for some scenario. So with the scenario mentality in my mind, I want to try and lock this Judicator out of this circle, and I want to try and keep models over here to contest and potentially score. So I line up all these halberdiers behind this house because Ghost Walk. And then I take the flag guy who's now worthless and was pretty much worthless before and run him right in front of the Judicator. So the Judicator has a hard time fitting around this house and getting into this zone. Halberdiers over here, they charge into Errants, and this white unit of Halberdiers fills in behind them. Harpies come up and they shoot some Errants. This Harpy is pretty much worthless and can't shoot a single Errant even if he wanted to. Goreshade for and also part of my plan is to play for scenario, but the other part of my plan is to pile massive dudes in front of him, have pop feet and have him kill them all and get enough souls to maybe assassinate High Reclaimer. That's sort of the plan. Goreshade puts Ghost Walk on Houseguard Thane. He has just barely enough movement to walk through the rubble now and catch this teal unit. They pop their mini feat after these errands get cleared out by a variety of things. They pop their mini feat and they charge onto the Judicators. I can get about 9 of them onto the Judicator. And I do probably, I think I leave it on 20 some boxes and cripple its S system. Yay, no more Hands of Fate. And here we are with feet popped and pretty much everything in my control range except for these halberdiers and some of these halberdiers over here. So that S system I crippled, he's got a vassal mechanic who walks up behind it and is like, hooray, you have your S system back. You can get those gross, stupid die rolls. So my opponent thinks about, he has quite a few things to think about right now. One is that if he wants to trample his Judicator right here to contest this zone well, and also just because that's a delicious looking trample. But if he does that, he's worried about these white halberdiers who still have their mini feet killing the Judicator. So he thinks to himself, kill all these halberdiers right here with a sweep and chill out and contest with Errants and have Errants just shoot down a whole bunch of these halberdiers over here and get in the way of... oh, and I think it's a feet turn. Yeah. Feet turn and try and get in the way of these Errants over here and continue to contest over here. And then he's got the debates about scoring over here because he knows I'm gathering souls and he's worried about getting assassinated. And he's worried that if High Reclaimer walks around the side of this wall and gets into that zone to score this right here, that I'm going to kill High Reclaimer. He weighs his options. He makes a difficult decision that I don't envy. He decides to keep High Reclaimer where he is and not score the zone. Super dangerous, but he will not be scoring any points this turn in favor of a very strong attrition lead. And then this Judicator pretty much comes up and pastes the halberdier, and he forgets to have it toe into the zone. If I had put the halberdier just a little bit more over right about there, he wouldn't have been able to even have that option. Or, if I had just positioned a little bit better. But it was just a little slip, and it allows me to score a point on his turn. Actually, I think I scored 2 points. Yeah, I did score 2 points because maybe I scored my zone as well. Yeah, I did score my zone as well. So I scored 2 points on his turn and he scored nothing. With that and the recursion of all those errants, the die has pretty much been cast. I have a fatty stack of souls down here. I either have to assassinate High Reclaimer or I have to win on scenario, preferably this turn. Because once this Judicator gets into this zone, I'm not scoring it anymore. And these Errants can, now that after this turn, if I no longer have all those souls to assassinate him, all these Errants and the Judicator can shift into this zone over here. And these Errants can continue to screen for the Judicator. And honestly, Judicator will probably and Judicator and Errants probably kill my halberdiers that I have left after this turn. And it becomes this weird dance where I'm playing till turn 7 trying to stay up on scenario. So, let's go back to assassinating High Reclaimer or the objective. I'm thinking about this High Reclaimer assassination run. Got a fatty stack of focus. Also, these focus down here, they need to replenish back up to 7 in addition to those focus. So it is a decent size stack. It's not... When I was creating this list, one of the key concepts was, that's a lot of focus from halberdiers dying. And that sounded really good to me. So this is kind of sort of working as intended. I've intentionally held Chimera back too, with the intention of not using any of his amazing spells until feet turn. And just fuel up Harpies. Yeah. So... killing High Reclaimer seems pretty unlikely because of the 3 camp and the cover, even with Light of Wrath, and it would just have to be pretty much all spells and maybe a Harpy shot or 2. So, while I'm looking at that, I'm like, hold on. Sevy zeros hanging out right there. Assassinating Sevy 0 is almost as good as, well, Assassinating High Reclaimer wins me the game. But you know what? Assassinating Sevy 0 is pretty dang good. So, new plan. Assassinate Sevy 0 and try to win on scenario. And if I don't win on scenario, I will hopefully have gotten enough work done over here by getting rid of this massive threat on the left-hand side that I can win the game on scenario on the left. So, that dude and this dude are the last 2 men of their units, or women. But so they're going to score this zone. That is their goal in life. To do that, flag dude is going to move over here and wave his flag. This halberdier dude is going to charge that errant and stab him. Then all these other halberdiers pretty much charge in, and with a massive amount of attacks, so that self-sacrifice is irrelevant. I kill these guys, and I have scored this. I have locked down that zone. Good for me. Woo! Then the next thing that needs to happen is I need to clear a landing spot for my Chimera with its 8-inch Light of Wrath to get somewhere right about here and not be engaged. Luckily, those Errants have half-inch melee, Chimera's half-inch melee, so it's doable. Harpy starts shooting, Halberdiers start attacking, Errants start shooting, and I get a landing spot right about here for Chimera. And I go up, and I do a boosted to hit Light of Wrath on Sevy. I hit it, I boost damage, and he dies. And I'm like, okay, plan is going according to plan. That means I'm automatically going to be scoring this zone and this zone. And this zone. I think actually, I forgot that I scored this zone. I thought I only had 1 point last turn. So in my head, to go to 5, I absolutely needed to kill this objective. So I began just slinging a Light of Wraths at the objective. Or I hit it with a Hand of Ice first off before I slung any Light of Wraths to bring its armor down. So that way my Light of Wraths were dice off 4. I put 4 of them into the objective. I should have been averaging 3 damage each and done 12 damage. Instead, I got exactly the 15 damage and killed the objective, which gives me the win on scenario. So we had a great talk at the end of this game. I like the decisions he made with High Reclaimer. He had some interesting decisions with putting High Reclaimer in this zone to score and also getting the Judicator in this zone. It's hard for me to say how things would have gone either way. The game would still be going at this point, but there is also that chance of assassinating High Reclaimer. Yeah, that is just a thing. Man, I think he got pretty jammed out by my halberdier or by my Errants. I can't really criticize him for not being able to deep dig out farther. I mean, the options kind of just weren't really there. Especially, yeah. Yep. So we also learned that Sevy 0 has Mystic Wards and can make it so that spells get -5 range targeting him or the Judicator that is under his control, basically battle group. So my Light of Wrath would have needed to be 3 inches away, and I don't think I can make that happen with these dudes here and the more that I have to clear and how far I have to run. So that would take that off the table. He's got plenty of focus, Sevy 0, to power just a Judicator. He just needs to hand out 2 to the Judicator, upkeep Mystic Wards, and camp 2 every turn. So yeah, that's pretty good. That would have stopped this. He's also somewhat a little bit safe where he is with that wall there. Yeah. I don't know what the Sevy 0 and Scenario seem to be the 2 weak links. Sevy 0, Assassination, and Scenario seem to be the 2 weak links of this list. The Judicator's attrition work is usually impressively strong, and it's a lot to think about. I feel like the Judicators have to get attrition work done and stay relevant on Scenario, but also at the same time manage the second line threat ranges. And that just goes counter to scenerio. If you want to stay relevant on scenario, that usually means moving up. So getting rid of the second line threat ranges sometimes is just too much and too difficult to accomplish, depending on how things are laid out. And when that happens, you're either making the trade of, well, do I put a Judicator into a zone knowing I'm going to lose it? And I don't envy that question at all. We did also talk about single Judicator with Incinerators, Bastions, Vengers, and other options down the road. It is something he is entertaining. He just has to get the models to do it. And I think that will be a more powerful option because it will make it so that scenario isn't a lose condition. And it will also make High Reclaimer's feat much more powerful. Also, single Judicator, honestly, just it's less of a spam and just gets more work done. I think this double Judicator is a strong list. I've played it 3 or 4 times now and found different ways of finding different win conditions just because he has to be on guard against so many win conditions that are available to me due to the nature of that low model count army. As we can see, though, infantry lists with decent armor 18, melt off the board to POW 10, Hands of Fate, AoEs. And Errants. It just happens. My goodness, did it happen. Yeah, this is the end right here. But going back to going back to this turn where I have everything here and then I go back to everything here. That's devastating. And it's not like I can really avoid it. If I stay farther back and spread myself out more, he sandpapers off the front layer and gets to, without punishment, move even closer to me. Which is also devastating because he didn't get to use sprays this game. In the link in the description, I will put a link to the skill sheets, and I will also put my skill sheet analysis. It's something I'm going to start doing instead of talking about it in the video, for how this game went for myself and my opponent. Thank you, everybody, for watching.